friends. Welcome to the program. President Trump appears to give Iran control of the war. One of two explanations. He's paralyzed or knows something we don't. We'll give you both scenarios. In a moment, Vice Admiral John Fozzie Miller, Joel Rubin, on how the president's next moves will cement his legacy for better or worse. Plus, we are in San Francisco tonight, 24 hours away from the California gubernatorial debate. Former Golden State Senator Barbara Boxer tells us whether Democrats can avoid what even Democrats are calling California Armageddon. But first, our Why It Matters segment, now 8,000 or 9,000 miles away in Iran. Right now, I can tell you what is happening with Iran. I can give you a couple of explanations of why, but we do not know how this is going to end up. President Trump may be screwing everything up, or he may be an absolute genius. We don't know. It's only fair that we tell you we don't know. What we can say for sure is that right now, the Iranians appear in control, and the United States does not have the momentum that it had 2 weeks ago from America's military successes. Now, regardless of what happens, we have to figure out a way to regain that momentum. Earlier today, Trump unilaterally extended the ceasefire, justifying it by saying the government of Iran is seriously fractured. Typically, when your enemy's government is seriously fractured, that is the time you double down. And that appears to be what President Trump was planning on earlier this morning when he was on with CNBC.
Will you let it keep going if there's progress in the talks before taking...
well, I don't want to do that.
You're saying that you need at least the prospects for a signed deal today and tomorrow, or else you would resume bombing Iran.
Well, I expect to be bombing because I think that's a better attitude to go in with, but we're ready to go.
The move is perplexing, as this appears to put Iran now in control, waiting for them to come with some kind of proposal. Emphasis, though, on the word appears. This is the other possibility that we don't know, that the regime is falling apart internally. And if the president has intelligence of that, if the Ayatollah and his henchmen are going to fight among themselves, let them. For their part, the Islamic regime told Reuters Trump's ceasefire extension means nothing. The losing side cannot dictate terms. Now, remember last night, every other news channel was obsessed over Vice President J.D. Vance leaving for peace talks in the morning. That would have been this morning. We were the ones who told you Trump was at the White House still deciding if Vance would go or not. So we will tell you what we know. We will tell you what we don't know. The best case scenario is that the U.S. blockade creates infighting with the Iranian regime. It would explain the conflicting messages out of Tehran. In that case, we might as well let them fight amongst themselves, and perhaps Israel can help a little bit on the ground of taking out the more disagreeable of the Iranian hardliners. U.S. forces boarded a sanctioned oil tanker in the Indian Ocean overnight. We saw that video. So the pressure campaign is putting real pressure on the Iranians and on their cold, hard cash that they use to keep the regime in power. As I said, there's two ways that this can be looked at. The worst case scenario is that Trump is paralyzed and stuck between bad options, and he's no longer enforcing his own deadline. Instead, he's waiting on Iran to make the next move. This may work out strategically, but right now it is a very bad look. This skit from The Daily Show sums up the worst possibility.
So that's where we've arrived at with the art of the deal. Basically, it's a cycle. It's a cycle of demands and threats and premature declarations of victory that allows the negotiator enough wiggle room to, at almost any point, claim that they've achieved exactly what they've set out to do.
Another unknown right now, China's role in all of this. President Xi has a say. He's the Iranians' only real friend, and he is now demanding that the strait be opened. And remember, we were told that President Xi promised President Trump that he was not going to send any weapons from China to Iran to help rearm during this ceasefire. Well, that appears to be a promise that President Xi broke.
We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know. But I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with President Xi, but that's all right. That's the way war goes, right?
After our program last night, a number of you wrote and tweeted that I didn't understand Trump's genius in dealing with Iran. You watch this show because we don't pick a side. We have a standard. I used that same standard when I told you the attacks on Iran were a good thing, and President Trump was the only president in 47 years to stand up to the Iranians. I used that same standard when I told you on day 2 of the war that everything would come down to the Strait of Hormuz. I used it last night when I told you we should watch whether J.D. Vance goes or not. So I'm using the same standard right now to tell you Trump is stuck politically and appears to be looking for an easy way out. Taking the easy way out here is bad for America. So yes, Trump must continue to strangle the Iranian regime's flow of money if he wants this war to be a legacy-defining event for him. Unless the Iranian regime truly believes Trump will restart this war and then finish it, nothing good can come from Donald Trump. And that belief, teaching the Iranians that lesson, cannot come through angry tweets.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.